Hello and welcome to the France 24 interview. Our guest today is the Moroccan Minister of Communications and spokesperson of the Moroccan government, Mr. Khalid Naciri, live from Rabat. Hello, Mr. Minister, and thank you for having accepted our invitation.
Hello.
The main piece of news regarding the Maghreb is a case of censorship. The latest issue of the weekly Tel Quel was seized by the authorities and destroyed by the Ministry of the Interior because of a survey on the 10th anniversary of the accession of Mohammed VI to the throne. A survey was carried out of a representative sample of Moroccans, and in spite of the positive answers, the very positive answers, almost a plebiscite in favor of the king, the Moroccan authorities have not hesitated to take action. So to discuss this question with us today, we have the Minister of Communication and spokesperson for the Moroccan government, Mr. Khalid Naciri. Mr. Minister, how do you explain this new case of censorship? Why have you banned this issue?
This is a non-event that's being touted as a planetary event. The Moroccan government has a duty to apply the law. That's the role of the government, as any government. The law in Morocco, contrary to what some people say, does not allow the organization of this kind of poll. Independently of the fact that there's no specific law governing opinion polls, I think that any law student knows that the Constitution is by any means above the law. And here the Constitution does specifically say that the monarchy must be respected, and the sacred character of the monarchy must be respected, and that's part of our heritage, and that has to be accepted whether you like it or not. I have the impression that the Moroccan people are totally in line with the monarchy. And secondly, the press code does not allow either to undermine the monarchy. But the fact of conducting this type of opinion poll, where the pivot argument is to ask the Moroccan citizens what they think about the king has been doing, is in and of itself detrimental to the foundations of the monarchy. So the question does not concern the results of the referendum, which in fact are positive. It doesn't surprise us. But it's the fact of allowing the organization of such a poll. In fact, it's the choice of our country.
But in fact, the opinion poll did not focus on the monarchy. It was on the results of his 10-year reign. It was not an opinion poll on the regime itself.
Well, whether it concerns an assessment or not, independently of the fact when you talk about a king, it's not an elective mandate. Independently of that aspect, I'm just saying that the fact of asking the question, of knowing, what your feelings are about what the monarch has done, is everyone knows what that means. So let's stop beating around the bush. We have to accept it as they are and observe the law. In Morocco today, we are proud to be the country, the Arabic and African country, where there's the most freedom of expression, where there's most plurality, where anybody can say anything and the opposite, without anybody saying a word to them. The press, foreign press, comes in and out as they please. Morocco is a haven of democracy and freedom of speech, so the king has to be respected.
So, are you going to censor, to ban this issue of the French Le Monde newspaper, which will be coming out tomorrow?
It's not an interdiction, it's not a censure. I will take that decision to stop the distribution of that issue of the Monde that is against the constitutional rights of this country. Otherwise, Le Monde comes into the country with no problem.
The written press and freedom of expression, a lot of taboos have been broken for a long time now in Morocco.
I'm happy to hear you say that.
And everybody recognizes the efforts made by the Moroccan government. But don't you think that this new case of censorship is a terrible blow to the Moroccan government.
No, it's not a terrible blow to the Moroccan government. Any self-respecting government respects the law. It would be abusing our authority to proceed otherwise. We would be abusing the law 52 weeks a year. All opinions may be expressed freely in this country. All subjects are dealt with, including the monarchy. You can see the last issue in Tel Quel for 1 month that was on the cover every week about the monarchy, about... now, this is the straw that broke the camel's back, because you cannot accept the monarchy to be the object of a political equation. That's it. Otherwise, please, let's stop, hiding, not being able to see the forest for the trees. The forest is the extreme freedom and exuberance of the public opinions that are freely expressed in this country. We assume that, and we will continue in doing this way.
Mr. Minister, the latest report by the Union of Journalists in Morocco says that abuse of authority has been exercised against journalists, making it difficult for them to do their job in Morocco. What measures are you going to take to protect Moroccan journalists when they do their work, when they do their job?
Listen, journalists are protected by law, they're protected by the government, and they're protected by public opinion. They are accomplishing their duty in perfect freedom. Now, if there are civil suits, and I must indicate this because there's a lot of disinformation here, this is not the government that has engaged these lawsuits. These are private individuals that felt that they were being defamed. Unless you consider that maybe the latest thing would be for a government to stop citizens from proceeding with a suit in defamation. That would be the most unacceptable course of action.
Mr. Minister, let's change subject. Let's talk about the economic and political results of Mohammed VI's reign. Is Morocco and are the Moroccans better off, or how would you describe the state of affairs after 10 years of the Mohammed's reign? Is it a mixed result?
No, the results are not equivocal or mixed. It's a fabulous result. Morocco under Mohammed VI we've had incredible projects underway. We worked a lot on our deficit, and we have a lot more to do. I'm not here to try to camouflage reality. We have a deficit in the social area, we're lacking in the education and sharing of wealth, and we are fighting to redress that. It's time to observe that there's a huge amount of things going on in Morocco in terms of the infrastructures, renovating the economic fabric, upgrading macroeconomic fundamentals in all of those areas. And in the political field, Morocco is a real... it's incredible in the other third world countries, and we're holding to the course. And this is also due to the fact that of the action that's been undertaken by a king that's constantly on the go. And I would like to pay tribute, well-deserved tribute, to the king, because this country has really started on this way to modernization and upgrading of the country, and we need to pay tribute to this.
Yes, Morocco has become, over 10 years, a major project, but who has benefited from the reforms? Wealth inequalities have increased considerably. What do you say to people who complain about rising unemployment, that the poor are getting poorer and poorer, the rich richer and richer? What do you say in response?
Obviously, it's a facile argument to go off on this kind of tangent with people who just reiterate slogans and obsolete cliches that are from 15 years ago or 20 years ago. First of all, the unemployment rate, for the first time in history, it's below 10%. And that was done under this government, and with King Mohammed VI at the head of the country. Secondly, the process of reduction of the public deficit is ongoing. I'm not going to talk to you about everything that's being done in order to reduce the public deficit, or in terms of creating infrastructures, the ports, the autoroutes, the railways, setting up new cities. All of this is ongoing, obviously. any government, we don't have a magic wand. We can't change a country in deficit into some kind of enchanted kingdom that solved all of the problems. We have a lot of difficulties, but we have the courage to confront those difficulties, to look at them head on, and to recognize them, and to invite the press to see our difficulties, and to see the courage with which we are attempting to deal with that and to get things straight.
In his latest speech, His Majesty King Mohammed VI has called on Algeria, the neighboring country, to enter into a negotiation process to try and solve the problem of Western Sahara. What is the situation today after the negotiations between Morocco and the Polisario in the United States? We're now heading for negotiations in Vienna, or perhaps in Paris, or in other countries. What is the situation today regarding the process of negotiation?
Alas, we haven't moved forward a great deal because of the lack of activity on the part of the Algerian Polisario. I am very sad to observe that on the other side of the table in Algeria and the Polisario, we don't have any equivalent to the political efforts we've been making, any methodology, any human involvement, and historical perspective involvement that has been done by Morocco. Today, Morocco has put an extraordinary project on the table that was the result of a huge effort so that Morocco does not repeat in 2009 what the exact same things they were saying in 1975 during the Green March. Today, we've agreed to a great deal of change. We've demonstrated flexibility. We have proposed an autonomous system that would enable us to break down the central government route and the autonomous government with a parliament, an elected parliament, universal suffrage by the population, and through the use of observers, and the head of the executive would be responsible in front of the king and in front of the local legislative body. This is all very important. This cannot be written off.
Thank you very much, Mr. Minister.
This really does look like the most democratic, autonomous regime and the most modern regime in the world.
Thank you very much, Mr. Naciri, Communications Minister and spokesperson of the Moroccan government. Thank you. Stay with us on France 24.